Hello there and a good morning to you. It is Petrie here with you, and if you're watching me on television, I am sorry, but I am looking up at screens at the moment to see if there is anything new on the Iran-Israel war. Antonio Guterres, the UN Secretary General, is saying that we need to have calm, not only for those involved, but for the whole region and for international peace and security at large. There's also the information that we had earlier that Vladimir Putin is urging for peace with Iran and Israel, and to stop the fighting, which seems to be an extraordinary request coming from a man whose own backyard is anything but peaceful. He said that all sides should look for ways to end the fighting. The Russian president said Moscow conveyed its ideas on how to achieve peace to the parties involved. He said he was in contact with Trump and Israel on the conflict, and nothing about Putin said Iranian society was consolidating around its political leadership. Well, that's what he wants to have happen, and Russia and Iran would be able to continue working in nuclear energy. Putin wants the Iranian society to consolidate around the Ayatollah because he doesn't want regime change. That would be the worst thing for President Putin. This is why he's urging peace. It has got nothing to do with peace, for the sake of peace. So I want to have a little bit of a deeper dive into this, if I can. And joining me, hang on a second, it's Martha Miller is joining me now to discuss this with me. Foreign policy consultant and analyst at the National Security Institute at George Mason University. Martha, thank you so much for joining me. Quite a lot of jaw, but also quite a bit of war as well. Those comments from Vladimir Putin seem to be a bit rich.
Laughable, I think, is a good way to describe it, in my opinion. I think, look, he benefits from the current Iranian regime. He is getting, Shahed drones from the Iranians. So, anything that's degrading the Iranian capabilities is degrading Russia's capabilities in its fight against Ukraine. So this is not something that he would have wanted, and certainly he would like to see peace, and he would like to see the Ayatollah remain in place and the entire regime in place, because look, this is part of the I used to work for President Bush, and there was the famous term axis of evil, but I think it's pretty clear we've got another one now, and it's Russia, Iran, China, North Korea. The Iranians even have a manufacturing facility for drones in Russia, which they put together a few years ago. So they are working quite closely together. I think the best thing that can happen for all of us is for Iran to be denuclearized. I think President Trump is offering them the chance to do that themselves, but it doesn't look like that's likely.
It's the language and the words that are being used at the moment are fascinating to me. And by the way, I used the term axis of evil earlier as well, so we're clearly of a similar vintage. But the language that I'm hearing, Donald Trump, for example, saying that we need a complete surrender. And that they should have done a deal with me when there was, in 2018, there appeared to be a perfectly good deal already in operation before he ripped it up. He doesn't believe in a ceasefire. He doesn't want a ceasefire. He not only wants a surrender, but he wants access to Iranian soil to go in with Israel, potentially boots on the ground, and get rid of any of their nuclear capability.
Yeah, I mean, look, I think, hold on a second. I have a dog problem right now.
That's all right. I thought we could hear something in the background.
I apologize.
Okay. This is what happens. It's just the world we live in.
um, no, I'm sorry. The sun is like shining as well. We just had a thunderstorm, but uh, anyway, yeah. Look, I actually thought that was pretty funny. I mean, Trump's language is always entertaining to say, at a minimum. And look, I really think he means it. And honestly, the United States, we need to reestablish deterrence. Deterrence is what keeps us safe. It is a concept that a lot of people, there are people who think that we should just give in to bullies, and at the end of the day, you have to strike back, and the only thing they will respect is power and being strong. So I hope that President Trump, means what he says. We've had too many red lines the American presidents have talked about red lines before, and they didn't.
Syria and places like that. Yeah.
Right, exactly.
But you look though. This is where it becomes impossible for a surrender, though, doesn't it? Because you have the Ayatollah Khomeini, who is not going to want oversight on his nuclear abilities. America and Israel know that if this job isn't completed to 100%, then what's happened so far has been literally a waste of time. That Iran cannot, in their view, be left with any nuclear capability.
Yeah, and this is something that the last four American presidents have said this. They have pursued it in different ways, but clearly the negotiation route has not worked. So I agree. I think the Ayatollah has no choice in a way. We know that's the way he's going to behave. He's not going to surrender. It's not in his DNA. And it's not in the DNA of his regime. And the Israelis have degraded his regime as well. They've gone after and taken out numerous members of his leadership team. And then when they've replaced people, they have gone after them as well. So, they've basically said, if you want to live, if you want to be safe, basically don't accept the promotion. So it's a very interesting twist on, I don't think I don't think there's necessarily like an aim for an actual regime change, certainly not from the United States at this point, certainly not the Trump administration. But in effect, it seems like that's pretty close to it.
And we're hearing as well that Israel clearly wants a regime change, right? They'd like a popular uprising. And in a way, that would save Donald Trump as well from having to get involved if there was a popular uprising. Because Israel have been bombing the religious police. They've been going after other targets that are not in a sense military. They're definitely not facilities, nuclear or otherwise. So they are clearly hoping to push the Iranian people back to a point of the Arab Spring where they will rise up against this regime.
And the hard part is, but then who would rule the country? And so I think no matter what happens, there's not going to be a great outcome. But of course, I think I said that about Syria not too long ago as well.
Yeah.
So, and there probably isn't a great outcome no matter what. But I think at the same time, look, whoever, if there is some sort of uprising, I don't think we want whoever that is. We don't know who it would be.
Exactly.
We don't want them to have nuclear capabilities either. And I know their Arab neighbors don't want it any more than the Israelis or we do. So it's, it's. I think it would be doing. I think Israel is doing the world a service right now.
What do you think? Look, we know that Israel wants to complete the job, right? in Iran. They want these. They want the nuclear sites done with, and the Formo nuclear site. They desperately want the Fordo site. They are absolutely concerned. This is a very deep bunker, potentially half a mile down. That this is where they're enriching uranium. This is where they're converting it and using it, and plan to use it to make weapons. They won't consider this task done until that bunker has been got rid of. They cannot get rid of this bunker. They don't have the bombs. America has the bombs. Do you believe that Trump will go ahead and use this bomb in Iran?
I think that he has certainly signaled that and I think there's been a lot left to interpretation in terms of the amount of information that's been shared. And I think he certainly implied that that is on the table. I think no one has dissuaded us as the public from thinking that that's on the table. But I think that's not the only option. Also, those bombs are actually likely to do the job, but we don't know 100%, right? So, I mean, another scenario could be providing enough air support and other capabilities in the region so that the Israelis could go in, commandos or special forces could go in and do it on the ground. I wonder if that, maybe that's going to be the play. Certainly, within the realm of possibility. You have the USS Vinson is already in the region. The Nimitz is on its way. So that would be, two carrier groups in that one region is pretty significant, pretty unusual. So, and then of course the B-52s are on Diego Garcia. Yeah. So would need approval from the British government for that. Although I think the B-52s probably could do it from elsewhere as well.
So. Well, the BS-2 Spirit in Missouri could fly from Missouri and do that's the stealth bomber. Right. So they could do it from Missouri and fly back. They would need fueling, presumably, but apart from that, they could, from what my understanding is, that they wouldn't need to use the B-52 necessarily. But if Donald Trump were to do that, is there concern, do you think, that this would broaden the war, if you like? Pakistan is already saying that they would get involved if anything nuclear was used. Russia won't be happy with that. North Korea won't be happy with that. China have been taking planes into Iran with supply planes with what we don't know. And North Korea is being eerily quiet, which I don't like. What if Trump gets involved, even in this regard, even if it is just to supply cover for Israeli forces to get onto Iranian soil, what could be the repercussions of that back at home, first of all?
In the United States, you mean political repercussions, or yeah. I mean, well, he's already heard from people in within his kind of world of supporters. There are people like Tucker Carlson who've been critical. I think even Tulsi Gabbard, his own director of national intelligence, I think is not.
And Marjorie Taylor Greene, I heard earlier on saying, yeah. Who would have thought?
Yeah. So, but look, you know what? They can't compete with Donald Trump. It's Donald Trump who got all of these people excited. These folks are sort of on the margins in terms of, they've been. I don't think they have the ability to compete with him with Trump's base.
Yeah.
He just has that ability to inspire the folks who voted for him. So
what about the repercussions in the Middle East?
I mean, look, I don't think the Saudis would be unhappy.
Yeah.
I think, obviously we've got a major base in Qatar. And so, but the Qataris, they like to be, you know, they like to work it with everyone. So I'm not too concerned about that. I mean, I really think their Arab neighbors are going to be relieved if their nuclear capabilities are destroyed or dismantled in some fashion. And yeah, so I actually am not too concerned. I think it'd actually be a positive. And yeah,
Well,
that's
let's hope. Let's hope. It's been fascinating talking to you. Thank you very much indeed for joining me. Martha Miller there, foreign policy consultant and analyst at the National Security Institute at George Mason University. Quick break, back in a sec.